Hey everybody, it's Marshall Mc here. This is going to be my The Flash Season 3 Episode 16 review. I'm really behind on videos just because there was a lot going on. So I'm going to catch up with everything. They might all be out of order because I don't know what order I'm going to put everything into. But I'm going to try doing Legends next because I'm behind 2 episodes. So we'll get to that. But anyway, this episode of The Flash was really good. I have a lot of great things to say about Arrow's episode, but we have to talk about this first. So this episode was really great. Like I said, kind of like a really solid episode all the way through. It was nice seeing Savitar. They made changes to how he looks. I believe they try to do more of a practical look at Savitar, more like, you know, less CGI-ish that they did earlier on in the season. But this episode was all about Barry going back into the Speed Force, and we have a lot to say about that. There are some comic book Easter eggs, but let's talk about it. So Barry goes back into the Speed Force. Cisco has to get him there. It was great seeing this moment where, like, Cisco was like, okay, bye. And they were talking about how, like, Barry could be stuck in there forever if he didn't lose his, or if he lost his, I guess, like, receiver, I guess? I don't know what you'd call it. I forgot what they called it in the episode. And I was like, Cisco, be more, like, sincere. You might lose Barry forever. But anyway, Barry goes back into the Speed Force, which is really great. Quick Easter egg to talk about, though, is that before Barry went back into the Speed Force, HR called it a negative world, and I thought that was really great. The negative world is part of, like, the whole, I think, Crisis on Infinite Earths, I believe? I don't know, I can't remember what story. I think, yeah, Crisis on Infinite Earths, where there was this world where, like, it was completely different, and it was called, like, the negative world. This is an Easter egg from the comics. It was really great seeing that. As you can see here, Supergirl was a part of that storyline, obviously, because, you know, Crisis on Infinite Earths. But anyway, it was nice seeing that kind of shouted out. I like when they do subtle hints like that, because it's like, oh, hey, I know what you're talking about. It's like that one Easter egg. So it was really nice seeing them kind of focus on that. But that's not all, you know, that's not all the Easter eggs that we have this episode, because there was like 2 more that were really big ones. One of them really wasn't an Easter egg hinted at in the episode, but more like, this is how it was in the comics, or is in the comics, is that speedsters can travel into the Speed Force whenever they want. You know, it's kind of like the perks of their powers, is that they can just travel through there. And Cisco had to guide Barry with vibing to go to the Speed Force, and, you know, not with Barry just running in there himself. So it's really interesting that speedsters can't do that yet. I'm wondering if they'll do that, like if Barry will learn to run into the Speed Force and teach other speedsters, or if that's just going to be how it is. Because if everyone was able to travel in and out of the Speed Force, Jay could have just ran out of there and left instead of being sacrificed. So I'm wondering if that's like, if they're going to learn that in the future, like all the speedsters, or if they're going to keep it like that so that way they can't like cheat out of storylines like this. But really sad seeing Jay stuck in there, but we'll talk about that further on in this video. Now, another great moment is that Eddie was back. I hated Eddie so much in Season 1. I don't know if I said that in my reviews of the show, though. Back when I was, like, a really bad reviewer and did, like, really kind of bad videos of Season 1 reviews. But anyway, I hate Eddie so much. I don't like Rick Cousin at all, which is why I'm hoping he's the villain for, like, next season. Even though I hate the character so much, I really want to see him come back as a villain. The villain is not going to be a speedster next season. But anyway, the Speed Force acting as Riverdale, acting as Eddie, was basically speaking about how Barry went back and changed the timeline, but how the Speed Force let him go back and change the timeline. So that was really interesting that they let him do that so that he could face these consequences. I mean, Barry's pretty much ruined everybody's lives, you know, with Cisco's brother being dead, Caitlin having her powers, you know, on and on and on. But you get to see all of these lives of how they would have been if Barry didn't do some of the things that he's done in the past. Caitlin even had a child. Like, Caitlin would have had a baby. All of the episode, like, of that part of the episode, I was expecting, like, Caitlin to just, like, surprisingly get her powers and, like, freeze her own child. That would be, like, really depressing, though. But I was expecting, like, the child to be, like, frozen in her arms, and she was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm freezing my baby. I expected that, but they wouldn't have probably done that just because it's really depressing. We don't want to have to see her kill her own child. But yes, so that would have happened. We actually got to see Ronnie back, so that was great. Robbie Amell did return. I love Robbie Amell. I like when they bring him back on. Kind of sad that he's, like, dead. And then we have, what is it, Franz Dumas? I think that's how you pronounce his name, Jax. But I like Jax over Ronnie, so that's okay. But always nice to see him come back in any way that they can. But again, they focus on the relationship of what it would be like if Caitlin had married Ronnie, and that to me is exciting because you really get to see how much Barry really messed up with the timeline. Especially, again, because they had a baby. Danielle Panabaker said it was really fun filming with the baby because they were twins. And she liked how they slept in her arms, like, pretty much the whole scene. So that was great. I loved Danielle talking about that. Now, we have to talk about this part. Black Flash appeared in this episode, and Black Flash almost killed Barry. I thought that was really interesting. So, the Black Flash, we have to explain what's going on with him. As you might know or might not know, they've pretty much, I don't know how you can really explain this, but they've signed the Black Flash throughout all the TV shows. So, he'll, like, appear. He's kind of like Captain Cold. He'll just appear across all the shows. Although I don't think Captain Cold has appeared on Supergirl or Arrow. So, that's kind of like not really signed up across all the shows. But anyway, Black Flash is going to be coming back. I know it seems like Barry might have killed him, but they've explained ways that people have died and they've come back before. So we'll see Black Flash again at some point. You know, I don't think they're going to just kill him off just like that. But speaking of Captain Cold, Leonard is back. So I loved seeing Leonard on the show again. Wentworth Miller, that's what I was thinking of, the actor. Wentworth Miller, always loved seeing him as Captain Cold. His Captain Cold is phenomenal. I don't know who they're going to cast in the DCEU to play Captain Cold, because they're going to have to like work really hard to surpass Wentworth's performance. But love seeing Captain Cold. I think they're going to try to bring him back more and more throughout the seasons, but I really wish they'd just bring him back to life somehow. But it was great seeing him back again, and I liked the conversation with him and Barry. Him and Grant have always had great scenes together, so I don't expect anything less than, because I really think they have the best chemistry in terms of like hero-villain, or like hero-anti-hero, I guess, because they made Captain Cold like more of an anti-hero. Anyway, Jay Garrick shows up during the Captain Cold scene and saves Barry, and then he ends up sacrificing himself for Wally. So the Speed Force wanted a speedster to take Savitar's place because of how Barry acted. The Speed Force also said that Barry is going to have to save Iris by himself, so we're going to have to see how that plays out. But anyway, back to the speedster thing. Wally took Savitar's place because of Barry's consequences, blah blah blah, and he was living the life of like, he was like living in a constant loop of his mother dying, which is really disappointing. It's like, oh wow, that's depressing. You know, me being depressing about Caitlin's baby being frozen. What about Wally being depressed about his mother dying over and over? But anyway, Jay Garrick ended up sacrificing himself to take Wally's place, which I thought was really like noble, and I'm excited to see how they get Jay out in the future. Jesse Quick, though, let's talk about Jesse, because Jesse almost killed herself. Suicide Squad, I think we have another member for you, because Jesse pretty much went on her own suicide mission. She went after Savitar with the piece of his armor, but in doing so, she actually found out that there is a man or woman or whatever underneath the armor that is vulnerable without the armor. So that's why Savitar's wearing his armor. It's not just like him himself, it's armor, and now they have maybe some new ways to take him down. So I think that's really interesting. We'll probably find out who Savitar is, like, really closer to the finale, even though Arrow kind of revealed Prometheus already. But we'll probably find out about Savitar later. Earth 3, though, so Jessie goes to Earth 3 so that she can, protect that central city, because Jay Garrick's in the Speed Force. Who's protecting Earth 2, though? That's kind of, like, interesting. Like, who's protecting that city? I heard on Instagram, like, through fun facts, that there's already another hero in Earth 2 Central City, so I don't know what's going on with that. But before I end up this video, another Easter egg that was mentioned is that Captain Cold in the Speed Force scene said that Jay Garrick was getting slow in his golden age, and I just, like, started geeking out. I was like, oh, Wentworth Miller, you're so good at delivering your lines, because I loved that scene. I loved it. It was like, oh, you're getting so slow in your golden age. I get it, because of the Golden Age comics. So I love seeing that. Again, those Easter eggs are just really fun to hear, because you know what they are. I mean, you know where they come from, so it's really cool to see that. But overall, I think the episode was really solid. It was a nice episode. Pretty legit. So what did you guys think of the episode? Comment down below. And are you guys excited for the musical crossover for Supergirl next week? Or I guess it's this week now. So anyway, what do you guys think? Again, please leave your thoughts down below. And are you guys ready for the Music Meister to debut on The Flash? Scream this video out to the world by sharing it down below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys later for some more videos. I will also be catching up as fast as possible, as soon as possible. Bye-bye.